As some of you may know, infrastructure in Utah is a booming business. One of the places that is making that possible is a facility called Harris Rebar. Harris Rebar is located in Salt Lake City in an industrial zone just a little bit outside downtown. Harris Rebar was running high output fluorescents on their production floor. They had switched out their high pressure sodiums for the fluorescent pieces, just those pieces where you remove the bulb, put in your fluorescent, and you're up and going. But if you're experienced with those types of fluorescents, high output is a relative term, high output. So what the request was is they wanted us to come in. They wanted us to come in, help them get their facility in kind of this high output environment, because some of the things they're doing is they're a rebar facility, Harris Rebar naturally. And what they do is they coat their rebar with a green epoxy. And this is for a couple of the projects they work on, concrete related type pieces. When they coat it with the epoxy, obviously they need to make sure it gets fully coated. Well, with low light output environments, it makes it very difficult to see that. So even though they're in this production type facility, they still needed to have spotlights, floodlights down on the ground to help them see in the inspection area, to help them see that the rebar was in fact coated properly. And this was just a hassle and a headache because they're always tripping over these tripods that were set up for those spotlights. And so what it was requested from us was, can you come in and can you help us get our floor up to a high output environment? So through our analysis, we went through the facility naturally, seeing where the dark spots were, taking current light readings, and putting those into our system, our analysis, helping them determine what lights were going to work best. And so what we determined through all the analysis was our 300 watt linear high bay was going to work better than even the round high bay pieces they currently had to help with light spread across the floor. So we spec'd out our 300 watt linear high bay piece, and this solved several pieces for them. The biggest piece was obviously it brightened up the floor, took care of the needed lumen output, and on that lumen piece, we increased their lumen delivered on the floor by 40%. That's a huge increase for them. But the biggest piece was their inspection area, the area that we were talking about that had the floodlights that they were tripping over as they're trying to go through this respective inspection. They didn't need those lights anymore. We were able to remedy that piece, and they had more than enough light output for that area in order to inspect properly. And so we were giving more lumens to the ground. We had increased production output because they weren't tripping over these respective things. They were able to process their products quicker. And then lastly, we improved employee morale, and people are actually able to see what they're doing, see what they're working on, and they're not, again, having to open up these doors in the wintertime when it gets cold here in Utah. It didn't change the fact they still had all the doors open because they couldn't see what they were respectively working on. And so as I just mentioned, we increased the lumen output on the floor to 40% while leaving our wattage consumption even. Now you remember, they were using the high output fluorescents already, and so it was already a efficient product or semi-efficient product. With us putting a 300 watt unit in, almost doubling the light output they were getting on the floor, we aren't consuming any more wattage for that respective facility. It was a great success.